Hello there, my friends. This is Chris with Wine and Wine, of course. Chateau de Crispin, aka. It's Chris, your host. Thank you so much for joining my channel, as always, and getting information about wine and everything that I like about wine. So, today we're going to be talking a little bit about wine, of course, a little bit uh, in reference to what do you look in wines. As far as when you pick up your wine. So first and foremost, if you want to impress somebody or you just want to learn about wine, first thing I do, and this different people look at it different, is of course you got to make a choice. Do you want white wine, red wine? Of course, at that point, you want Chardonnay, you want Merlot. I mean, there's different types of wine. You want Sauvignon Blanc, So that's the first choice. The second choice, once the wine does come to your table, what have you, or when you're purchasing, you look at the vintage. The vintage is the year that it was produced, basically, or the grapes were picked. This fermentation started, the infancy of the wine. Some years were really good. Some years were not. So yeah, you look at the vintage. Then you go ahead and look at the uh, the region. Is that American wine, French wine, Italian wine, German, South African wine. I mean, there's different regions that produce wine in the world. Most people are just aware of some, especially in the United States. There's a lot of wine from California, but there's a lot of wine from Indiana too. Washington State produces a lot of wine. So yeah, I mean, that's the second thing you gotta look into. So once you figure out, of course, what you want to drink, red, white, the year, which is the vintage, the region, of course. Then, of course, you open up your wine. Now, depending on the wine, is it white or is it red? The temperature is something that you really have to look into. So, yeah, make sure you look into that before you start drinking your wine. But once you get that wine, of course, my glass almost broke. But once you get that wine, there's a few things you could do. Of course, the first thing is the sommeliers will pick it up and bend the glass a little bit, swirl it, bend the glass a little bit, and what they're looking for is they're looking for the color. Looking for the color because the color tells if this is a new wine or an old wine. If it's brownish or it's a little bit purple, that could tell a sommelier or somebody that knows about wine if this is a new wine or is an old wine. The second thing sommeliers or people will do that know about wine is they will swirl the glass. The reason for this, of course, is to aerate the wine. So when you swirl it, it moves. Then the second thing you do is you put it on your nose, which it's called nose. That's where you're smelling it. You swirl again, then you smell it because of course now you're involving not only your eyes, you're involving three senses: your eyes, your nose, and so you smell it, then you swirl it again, then of course now you're engaging your other sense, which is when you drink it, then you do, which is weird for a lot of people. But what they're trying to do at that point, of course, is they're trying to tell to feel the palate because the taste buds and the nose are involved at the background. This is when you'll hear sommeliers saying, "I could taste roses. It's got the oak. I could taste a little bit of coffee in it." That's when it's in the mouth. They're swirling it in the mouth, and the senses are doing like 150 miles an hour in there, try to tell what's in that wine. It's a beautiful experience once you know what you're looking for, and professionals could tell you so much about a wine just from that. Some people are known, of course, sommeliers could even tell the region of the wine because of how we taste. Like me, I remember some wines because of just the taste. I won't forget that taste. So yeah, after that, of course, keep enjoying your wine. The other thing that I always want to tell people: don't ever hold a wine glass like this. Please, 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 because of the temperature of the wine. You do not want to interfere with the temperature of the wine. If you really want to enjoy your wine, hold it by the stern like this, because temperature changes could change your experience or taste of wine. Thank you again for following me. A lot of topics, of course, that I discuss. This is Chris with Chateau de Crispin, aka Wine and Wine, and thank you so much for supporting me. Subscribe, tell a few friends about it. You know, all the way from Indiana, you know, representing, and thank you. And you'll be sharing more and more topics and stuff about wine for you and your friends and family. All right, Chateau de Crispin, Wine and Wine, and thank you. Have a good day.